Let's begin episode 4. Jun-hyun is talking with Bang-gul. He says they'll do exactly what her father asked. They'll ruin her siblings. Bang-gul takes the ID and password and says, "Fine, but this stays with me." Jun-hyun says to himself that, just like him, she doubts everyone. She doesn't trust him. Jae-sung enters the ID and password but realizes it's all wrong. He shouts that Song-nam has betrayed him. Yoon is right there nearby and she says she doesn't think Song-nam did this on his own. Her husband, Jae-sung, could be mixed up in it, and she'll look into it. In the next scene, we see employees talking with Bong-gi, telling him that they went to carry out the audit, but the 2 interns aren't here. He should call them. Bong-gi says he's given Jun-hyun a lot of leeway, but that won't happen anymore. He's about to call him, but just then their boss, managing director Kwon, arrives. He tells them, "You did a good job. Let's go grab a meal. My treat. By the way, where's Jun-hyun? Call him." We also see Jun-hyun, who was taking a shower and enjoying himself. But just then, Bong-gi calls and tells him to come to the meal quickly. In the next scene, Jun-hyun does just that. Everyone is at a restaurant, drinking alcohol. Here, though, Kwon speaks to Bang-gul and tells her to serve the alcohol. But Jun-hyun cuts in and says, "Why should she? Has any of you ever done that for her?" Bong-gi asks why he's talking such nonsense. Is he drunk? Bang-gul puts a hand over his mouth and tells him to be quiet, but he had no intention of stopping. He tells Kwon, "Let's have a drinking contest. Whoever wins gets 1 wish." Kwon is pleased and says, "Fine. If I win, we'll move on to a 3rd round." Jun-hyun says, "Fine. If I win, no one will ever have to dine with you again. Instead, you'll just give them the money." Kwon agrees to this as well. Jun-hyun, the one with Young-ho's soul inside, recalls a scene. He had once held a drinking contest with Kwon and beaten him. In the present, the same thing happens, and he easily defeats him. All the employees are delighted by this, because they too don't want to eat with Kwon. Everyone comes outside and leaves by taxi. Bong-gi, though, is drunk, and Bang-gul looks after him. Jun-hyun asks where he lives. Bang-gul says she doesn't know. Just take him to your place. In the next scene, Bong-gi wakes up and finds himself in an unfamiliar place. It looks like some kind of palace. He then comes out to where Jun-hyun was reading a newsletter. He asks him, "What are you doing here? Is this place yours?" He knows the siblings must have given him money, but he can't spend it like this. He should think about his future. He'll get married someday and have children. He should be investing all of this in them. Pack your things and let's go. But Jun-hyun refuses. He then reveals who he is. He's the chairman's secret son. That's why he has so much money. His father told him he has to ruin the siblings because they want to take over the company. His father had even praised Bong-gi. Will he help him? Bong-gi believes him and agrees. Jun-hyun then has a car called for him. The 2 of them arrive at the company where Bong-gi opens the door for him. Bang-gul is nearby and sees all this. She hits Jun-hyun and asks Bong-gi, "What is all this? Why are you doing this for him? Did he blackmail you?" Bong-gi was about to say something, but Jun-hyun kicks him and tells him he mustn't reveal who he is. Bong-gi says, "Okay, I understand." They go inside the company where the police had come and were asking about Song-nam. But just then, Jae-kyung and Jae-sung arrive. Jae-kyung says that they should talk to Jae-sung about this. In the next scene, Jae-sung is questioned about when he last saw him, but Jae-sung says he doesn't remember anything. Inside, we see Sang-jae holding a meeting. He asks Jae-sung about Song-nam. Where is he? The reply comes that he is resigned. What about his projects? Jae-sung says that Song-nam had some personal matters, so he resigned, and that all those projects were his, Jae-sung's, not Song-nam's. Jae-kyung says she's found a new battery tech company they should invest in. When asked about the investor, Jae-kyung says not to worry. She's already found one, and she even names him. Everyone is pleased to see her progress. But after the others leave, Jae-sung speaks with her and says, "I know who that investor is. It's you yourself, because you have a slush fund, so you're using it." Jae-kyung retorts, "What about your slush fund? Where is it? Is that why you killed Song-nam?" But he shouts that he is nothing like her. Outside, we see Jun-hyun and Bang-gul, who were watching all this. Jun-hyun says they'll use Jae-sung to bring Jae-kyung down, but Bang-gul says she doesn't think that's possible. Bong-si won't allow it. She shows him a news item about the Tahiha Group's port project, which has gotten underway at Yuncheon Port. Jae-sung comes into his office, where Yoon was sitting in the chair across from him. He asks her, "What are you doing here?" Yoon says, "They'll have a meal together." While they eat, she keeps asking about Song-nam. Where is he? but he snaps that he doesn't know. Song-nam betrayed him, and he'll kill him. On the other side, we see Jun-hyun talking with Bong-gi. They learn that the mayor of Yuncheon is close to Jae-sung. The two could be called friends. Mayor Jang is helping him so that he can complete the project. Just then, Jun-hyun recalls a scene in which Bang-gul had earlier shown him a project of hers. In the next scene, he's looking at it. Bang-gul comes over and asks what he's doing. He gets information from her about the project, and she tells him everything. Jun-hyun says, "I think we can do anything now." At night, we see Jun-hyun open his laptop. Since he's Yong-ho, he already knows the IDs and passwords. He looks at everyone's schedules and what they've been discussing. He learns that Jae-kyung is talking about some battery tech company. In the next scene, he goes to Jae-kyung and talks about the Yuncheon port project. He tells her that he knows it's Jae-sung's, but she can lead it. He has a plan. Jae-kyung asks, "Why should I trust you?" Jun-hyun says, "You can try trusting me just once. If it doesn't work out, you can fire me." On the other side, we see Bong-gi with his employees. The employees want to get some copies made and also want drinks, coffee, and so on. But they find that the two interns aren't here. Bong-gi says, "It's no problem. He sent them out to do something, and that he'll do this work for them." A message comes through to Jun-hyun saying, "Don't worry. He'll handle everything there." We then see Jun-hyun call the governor's secretary and say, "We have a project and would like to meet." He gives the timing and so on. In the next scene, they come to the secretary and discuss the project with her. Yoon, too, talks with her father and says, "I spoke with Jae-sung. She doesn't think he knew what Song-nam was going to do. He was betrayed. Someone else is behind this, and that person must have the ID and password. Maybe it's Jae-kyung." At night, we see the Choi-sung family eating together. But here, Jae-kyung looks at Son-hee. Something comes over one of them, and they tell her that, from today, she shouldn't eat with them. All of this is becoming increasingly uncomfortable. We see Jun-hyun, who drops Bang-gul off at home. He starts asking about her mother, though. "Why are you asking about her?" Just then, Son-hee comes out, and Bang-gul goes to her mother. Jun-hyun, who has Yong-ho inside him, becomes emotional at the sight of his wife, and he too comes over to her. Looking at him, Son-hee asks, "Did my husband really cause your accident? He could never do such a thing. Tell me the truth." He says nothing. Son-hee says, "I'm sorry for saying such things." Mother and daughter both go inside and eat together, though there was no food left, so they have to order from outside. In the morning, we see Bang-gul come into the kitchen. She looks at what her mother's cooking schedule is, but it's extremely demanding, so she orders food from outside and serves it to everyone who like it. On the other side, we see Jun-hyun call Bong-gi over to his place and tell him that he thinks a money deal has been struck between Mayor Jang and Jae-sung. Here are some documents. He should use them to find out how much money it is. His father trusted him, he says, and he thinks Bong-gi is a capable man. Bong-gi says, "Not to worry. I'll throw myself fully into the work." Jun-hyun also gives him some money in advance. In the next scene, we see Jun-hyun, who is with Jae-kyung. This time, the governor's secretary is also present. She tells them that they read the project, it's very good, and to let them know what the planning ahead will be. At this point, though, Jun-hyun was saying the very things that Yong-ho had once said in front of his daughter, and hearing them, Jae-kyung is left. This project only became possible for one reason, which we see on a TV news report. Mayor Jang has resigned. Jun-hyun captures a scene in which we see Bong-si together with Mayor Jang having dinner. A deal over the port is struck between them, and the mayor is paid. When they all come out, we see Bong-gi nearby, taking photos of them all. He then sends these photos to Jun-hyun, showing how they're making a money deal. Bang-gul then talks to the mayor in a disguised voice and tells him what she knows. If he doesn't resign, she'll leak all of it. Back in the present, Jae-sung calls the mayor and demands, "What is all this? Why did you resign? You've betrayed me." But the mayor says it's nothing like that. Someone had called him, knew about their deal, and blackmailed him. Jae-sung's secretary comes to him and tells him what his sister is about to do. We move to a meeting where we learn about the Yuncheon port project. Jae-kyung is now going to lead it. But Jae-sung storms in, that she can't do this. The project is his and she's stolen it from him. Jae-kyung says he can't do anything now. The mayor won't help him and the project will just sit there. That's why she wants to step in, so she can protect Choi-sung. She then turns to Songja and asks him to give his decision. Songja thinks it over and says, "Fine, they'll move forward with this project." Jae-kyung steps outside, but Jae-sung now comes up to her and starts arguing, saying, "Do you really think you can become chairman with the help of this project? That will never happen." Jae-kyung doesn't get angry though. She responds to him very calmly. Nearby, we see Bangul and Junhyun shaking hands because things are turning out exactly as they'd planned. Sangja, however, notices them. In the next scene, he talks with his secretary and says he thinks the port project could be connected to Junhyun. Look into him. She shows him some photos in which Bangul and Junhyun were talking with the governor's secretary. She shows him a photo of another place where Junhyun is currently living. But seeing it, Sangja is stunned, because this is the very place where the chairman used to live. Or rather, the place the chairman would use from time to time. Meanwhile, we see Junhyun taking Bangul to an expensive restaurant. He orders wine because they're going to celebrate. Their plan worked out. He also gives her a share of this venture, a piece of land. It was the very land she had signed over to her sister Jae-kyung. Bangul asks, "How did this come to you?" Junhyun recalls a scene in which he had earlier spoken with Jae-kyung. Jae-kyung says, "I did exactly what you asked. Now what reward do you want?" He told her there was a piece of land he'd like to take. Bangul says, "Why did you take this land? It's worthless. Nothing can come of it here." But Junhyun tells her not to worry. He's already spoken with the governor's secretary. Soon this place will become a tourist spot and she'll make money hand over fist from it. He tells the man that he's going off to take care of something. After he leaves, though, we see Son-hee arrive here. Bangul asks her mother, "What are you doing here?" Just then, Junhyun messages her, telling her to spend time with her mother. He's also nearby, watching the two of them. A waiter was taking away the wine because Junhyun had asked for some changes. Son-hee doesn't like wines like that. In the next scene, he comes to his garage. He was looking at his car, and then he drives it. As he drives in, we see Jae-kyung and several of her people standing in front of him. Jae-kyung says to him, "This is exactly why I don't trust people. Did you really think I wouldn't find out who you are?" Hearing this, Junhyun becomes very nervous, and the episode comes to an end.